B'Shem Kol Yisrael. So we're going to dedicate the following Torah Shir to the whole Jewish people, to protecting the whole Jewish people. And that is exactly the topic of the class. We're going to show classical Talmudic sources which strengthen the concept that Torah study can protect Torah scholars and really all of Am Yisrael. And that is, hopefully, will give us encouragement to study Torah strong and keep mitzvah stronger. Obviously, it goes without saying that I'm not saying that we should not be doing physical action. In fact, right now I'm in the Israeli army, and it's clear, abundantly clear, throughout Tanakh that the Jewish people have always also acted. We don't rely upon miracles. We go to war. We fight. The question is, what do you do with your free time? Like right now, I have a shift in 45 minutes, but right now I have free time. So should I, go play, on video games, or should I learn Torah? That's the question when I'm not in the midst of the battle itself. So, of course, the nefesh Chaim from Rav Chaim of Volozhin talks about this concept of the spiritual power of Torah to protect us. But we're going to start our shir way before the Nefesh Chaim, going back to many Talmudic sources. So let us begin. The Gemara in Brachos teaches us in Daf Yud Gimel Amud Aleph. Amr le Rav Acha Breder Rabbi Chia bar Abba Hachi Amar Rabbi Chia Amar Rabbi Yochanan Kol Maspia Atzmo Midivrei Torah Valan. If you satiate yourself with Torah and then you go to bed, no bad tidings will come upon you. He who lies satisfied will not be visited by evil. So we see from this Gemara, the Torah study can protect the Torah scholar, so he won't hear bad tidings. Is this talking about physical bad tidings, or perhaps it's a spiritual protection? It's not so clear from the Gemara. I would also probably note that it's likely the Gemara is speaking in general terms. In general, it can be a protection. I don't know if it's meaning to say there is never a situation, but where bad things will happen if you learn Torah. It can be speaking in the general way the Gemara speaks, which is in generalities. But certainly it's implying that studying Torah can protect us. Maybe that's why many Torah scholars or many Jews make sure to go to bed, before they go to bed, learning Torah. Also helps your eyes, flutter and go to bed. It's good practice. Okay, let's do another Gemara in Brachos. Rabbi Eliezer says in the name of Rabbi Chanina, Talmidei Chachamim Arvim Shalom Ba'olam. Torah scholars create peace in the world, which is also a song that I remember from camp. Don't read it, Torah scholars are my children, but my builders. Peace to those who love the Torah, and no stumbling blocks. There'll be peace in your walls and prosperity for your palaces. This famous Gemara seems to be talking about how Torah scholars are creating peace in the world. Of course, you don't have to interpret this Gemara to be spiritually, metaphysically creating peace, but rather through their actions, they're creating peaceful society. But it also might imply that the Torah itself is creating protections for the Jewish people. Okay, let's move to the Gemara in Shabbos. Daf Lamed Amud Bes. Kol Yom Deshabta Aviyat Avigarse Kuli Yom. So David Melech every Shabbos would sit and learn all day to protect himself from the angel of death. Apparently, he knew that he was supposed to pass away on Shabbos, so he'd learn Torah to protect himself. That day, the Malach Mava was supposed to kill him, and he couldn't touch him. Because he wouldn't stop learning Torah. Amr, my avid lay. So what am I going to do to him? Havile bustana achrai beite. So there was a bustan, there was a orchard behind his house. An angel of death climbed and shook the trees. Okay. Nafik lemechse. He went out to see the trees. Havitzalik bedarga ifchet darga mitute ishtik benachnafshe. So as he climbed the stair broke beneath him. He was silent and he died. There's the famous Gemara that David HaMelech, when he was learning Torah, the angel of death had no way of protecting him, of hurting him, because the Torah protected him, I guess, especially when he was verbalizing Torah study. So maybe that's a source that verbalizing Torah gives you an extra degree of protection. That's also, by the way, the reason why we do make him Malava Malka is because David HaMelech every Saturday night would celebrate because he was still alive. So we see here the power of Torah study. Although one could say, look, the angel of death found a way to get him. I guess when there are exceptions, so there will, Shem will find a way to distract a person from Torah. But in general, we see from here that studying Torah does protect a person. Similar Gemara in Eruvin. Amar Rabbi Eruvin Yud Chetam Bet. Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah Bar Elazar. From Yirmiyah Bar Elazar teaches, Kol Bayit Nishmayin Bo Divrei Torah Balayla Shuvein Nechrav. Any house when there's Torah study at night, and again, in the olden days they didn't have electricity at night, so at night was generally a time when people weren't studying Torah. Eino Nechrav, it will not be destroyed. Shneimar V'lo Yomar Ayeh Elka Ose Noten Zmirot Balayla. It says, but none says, where is my God, my Maker, who gives songs in the night? So the pasuk implies that if you sing the song of Torah in his house, you won't come to lament. There won't be destruction in your home. So this Gemara, Rabbi Yirmiyah, is saying pretty outright that when you're studying Torah, it's going to protect you from physical manifestations of evil. Okay. The Gemara in Megillah, Daf Yud Aleph, Amid Aleph writes, Ki avadim anachnu, avavtutenu lo azamnu, kenu miyat alenu chesed, lifnei malchei fares. So the pasuk in Ezra, Tess writes, we are your bondmen, yet our God has not forsaken us in our bondage, but has extended mercy upon us in the sight of the kings of Persia. So, Matai, what is this referred to? Bizman Haman, in the time of Haman. Rabbi Eliezer patach lepitcha la barshat hamelach. Rabbi Eliezer opened up the pasuk and said the following: Ba'atzilatam yimach amikra uveshiflos yadayim yidlof abayit. So how did we understand this pasuk? Bishvil atzil shayel and Yisrael shelo aska b'Torah. Why did this terrible decree come upon the Jewish people? Because they were not immersing themselves in Torah study. And so the Hashem became poor. He's unable to help them. And then it goes on to explain that mach is a lashon of being poor. So we see that God is not able to protect us, so to speak, when we are, not immersing ourselves in the study of Torah. Gemara in Ketubos, Daf Ayin Zayin Amid Bet writes, Machrish Rav Yochanan exclaimed, He's harem, he's vuve, shabal re'otam. Should be careful the flies around those who have ratan, which is a type of disease. Be careful about those who had ratan, because they might spread a disease. Rizera lo abayate bezike. Rizera would not sit in a spot where the wind blew from the direction of someone who had this terrible disease. Eliezer lo ayel ba'oleh. Rabbi Eliezer wouldn't go in their tent. Rabbi Ami Rabbi Asi lo abi achli mibei dahi muvoa. Rabbi Ami and Rabbi Asi would not eat eggs from an alley where someone with ratan lived. Rabbi Shua ben Levi mechrach bu ba'asik b'Torah. Rabbi Shua ben Levi would attach themselves to them and study Torah. Amar ayelet avim ayelet chen im chen ma'aleh alomdea agone lo migna. He says, the Torah is a loving hind and a graceful doe. If it bestows grace on those who learn it, does not protect those from illness. So we see that he believed, Rabbi Shua ben Levi believed that Torah study can actually physically protect you. course, I'll have to note the caveat that there were other rabbis who seemed to not prescribe to this perspective, and it does seem in our generation, basically all the rabbis say we need to be precautionary, and if someone has a disease like corona, etc., we don't just say, well, I'll just learn Torah and not worry about it. But we do see from the Gemara that at least Rabbi Yehoshua believes that Torah can protect you even from these diseases. Okay, let's keep going. The Gemara in Sota, Daf Chaf Aleph Amid Aleph teaches, Am Rabbi Yosef mitzvah be'idna da'asik be magana umatzla be'idna delo asik be agoni magna atzuli lo matzli. Okay, so I did that too fast. Rabbi Yosef said when it comes to a mitzvah, when you're engaged in it, it protects you and saves you. It protects you from misfortune and saves you from the evil inclination. Okay? When we're not immersed in it, so it will protect you, but it's not going to protect you from the Yetzer Hara when it comes to mitzvahs, and if you're not immediately immersed in it. Torah, bein be'idna da'asik be, bein be'idna delo asik be, magane umatzle. When it comes to the Torah, whether you are immersed in it or whether you are not immersed in it, it both protects you physically and saves you from the Yetzer Hara. Okay. So we see from here again that Torah study, certainly when you're engaged to it, it's protecting you. But even when you're not engaged in it, there can be a certain degree of protection that comes upon you. So again, that's super, super relevant to the topic at hand. A few more Gemaras to bring the point home. Daf Pei Vav Amid Aleph writes, Shadru Shlicha Batrai, he sent a messenger from heaven to take the life of Rabba Bar Nachmani. But the Malach Mavetz couldn't touch him again because he was studying Torah all the time. And then so a wind blew. And he thought there was going to be a battalion, I guess, of evil soldiers. And he said, I'd rather die than be taken by the hands of the government. And so he was distracted, and the angel of death was able to get him. It's very similar to the Gemara with David HaMelech. We see that the constant immersion in Torah study can protect a person from the angel of death. The Gemara in Bava Basra, Daf Zayin Amid Bet teaches, Rabbi Yehuda Nasiya Rama Deshora Adarabanan. Rabbi Yehuda Nasiya once made a tax for the wall on the sages. Okay, made a tax. Amr Shlakesh Rabbanan Lo Tzrichin Itiruta Techtiv Asafran Mechol Yerbayun Asafran Leman Ilema Tzadikim. So Rish Lakish said the sages don't require protection. As it's written, if I should count them, they are more in number than the sand. If I should count who? If we're going to say it's tzadikim, the nafishim achalei hashta kula Yisrael tivu kechol hashal tzvat ayam tzadikim atzman mechol yerbun. So if we're going to say it's tzadikim and saying that they're greater in the number than the sand, but it already says that the whole Jewish people are more than the sand on the seashore. So tzaddikim are part of the Jewish people. So rather what? It's saying okay, this Gemara is a little bit lengthy. So for the sake of the brevity of time, I'm going to just cut out and note that this Gemara is implying the famous concept that Talmidei Chachamim should be exempt from taxes because they are protected. Again, I'm not saying halacha l'maisa that Talmud Chacham doesn't have to pay taxes. Of course they do, according to all modern poskim. But we see the general concept that, in theory, they are protected. They're protecting us, and they are protected. So we see the power of Torah study. Another famous Gemara in Sanhedrin, Daf Tzadik Tes, writes, who's an apikoros? We're going, man, Amar Rav Yosef, Kagon Hani Damri, my Anu Le Rabbanan Ledidu. Like whom? Rav Yosef says it's someone who says, Rabbanan Karu Ledidu, Tanu Ani Damri, my Anu Le Rabbanan. Those who say, what do the rabbis help us? They don't help us. I'm Megala Panim Torah. I'm Megala.